Oh my gosh, the frickin' wiring on this boat. It's horrible. Bait and Boat Works. Boat and Bait Works. Say that fast 5 times. Boat and Bait Works. Boat and Bait Works. Boat and Bait Works. Boat and Bait Works. Bait and Boat Works. This is my boy Aaron from Boat and Bait Works. I did the logo show. I should really know that. The goggle eye with the speakers and the. Anyway, how are you?
Good, buddy. How you doing? Good to see you, man.
Good.
Good to see you.
Listen, I'm going to tell you, man, this is an exciting time. And on the platform, one of the cool things for me is I've been dying to get Aaron in here. Aaron does a lot of work locally here for boats. I don't care. Freeman's, Contenders, old boats, new boats, replacements, wire guy, electronics guy, and that is not me. I am completely afraid of all of that stuff. I'm good at art, phys ed. I was really good at phys ed in school. And a little bit of fishing. But wiring and mechanical things and electronic things is not my game. And I'm a little, I'm afraid of them. And let me just say a few things as we get into this before we start to talk about what we're getting ready to embark on with my boat. I have a 1987 Ocean Master, and it's an old boat. It was actually rewired one time, I would say 20 years ago, okay? And it looked really good. The problem was when I would go into my console, Aaron, I would look at it and I would go, where does this wire go? All these wires, there's nothing labeled over time. Maybe the labels came off, maybe they never labeled them. But long story short, I have these bars, bus bars I think they're called, or fuse bars, where there's fuses and red wires, and then there's 57 black wires, and then even looking at my batteries, there's crossovers and parallels, to parallel batteries so that they charge together. But honestly, if I had to redo the boat, like to take everything out, unless I videoed it, I couldn't put it back correctly, knowing that this wire is for that motor or this house battery setup. In these next few films and in this next segment with Aaron, he brings another level to the platform. And bringing another level to the platform of understanding your boat. And I did a few films on how long does it really take to understand your boat with wiring and pumps and plumbing and certain, even the radio, how do you run the right stuff, which you do a lot. So I'm overwhelmed with that type of stuff. Fishing is easier for me, but looking at that stuff scares me, especially when I want to go to the Bahamas or start to do long trips, 50, 60, 80 miles offshore, and I see wires in my console that I really don't know what they are. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about rats eating your wires. Down here in Florida, you wouldn't think that's an issue. I just had half of my bottom machine, my chart plotter, all my stuff got eaten now, and I couldn't figure out what it was until we pulled it out. And we had left our boat in the Keys, and rats got on it. There was mangroves there, and within a month, now I'm dealing with this issue. So that's what's prompted us to rewire this boat. 1987, a 31-foot Ocean Master. The deck's been redone. Almost every single, the motors are a week old. Mike and Mike at Outboard Specialty Suzuki 300s, and I know you deal with them a lot. So we're going to go into face plates. We're going to talk about toggle switches and the thought process in rewiring or understanding your boat, okay? I got to ask you, obviously I've been talking here, but tell me about what you do. Boat and Bait Works. What's the bait part of it?
Bait is, basically retired from the bait. That was when I first got started in all this. It was commercial goggle eye fishing, working all day and bait fishing at night in my younger days. And I've gradually gotten out of the bait fishing.
Thank God.
Strictly on all of the boat work and yeah, so no more bait fishing.
Thank God there's no
just
more bait fishing.
Trying to fun fish whenever I can.
Right,
and that's
right.
even hard enough. So
But you still fish when we
Yeah.
deal with her. You still chip hunt. I saw you posted the other day. You had some big queen snappers. So you're still into fishing.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Love it.
love it. Yeah.
So you get it though.
Yes.
See, so one of the interesting things about Aaron, when I think about somebody wiring my boat, or he's a fishing guy. When you get somebody that's not a fishing guy that's wiring your boat, who's used to, they're Sea Ray guys, or they're, Carver, or these, canal boats, I call them, whatever.
Yeah.
They don't get what we're trying to accomplish. So for
Right.
me, when I think about Hubble plugs, deep drop reels, 3 rods out at one time, that may be electrics, all of that stuff, because you fish, is hugely important to me to understand that when I decide to go into a project, just because a guy is a good wiring guy doesn't mean he's the best application for your boat. Right. So because you fish, that makes me comfortable.
Right.
Make sense?
Sure.
I want to talk about being overwhelmed with wiring. I want to talk about a regular guy. You guys out there who have center consoles, there's a lot of our customers are center console guys. Not everybody has, but $500 to $600 to $700, $800,000 to buy a new Freeman or a Invincible. So in South Florida, you deal with a lot of guys with smaller, older boats. When you think about your job and you think about where you've gone, the jobs that you've done, what can you warn people about with wiring? Or, I buy a boat and I get on it and I don't really know what stuff is, but everything works. But you really don't know what you have or what wire. What would you say as a guy who shows up to boats to see them, to be cautious of, and like?
I would say, first thing is if it looks sketchy or if it looks dangerous, it doesn't look proper, I wouldn't trust it. Just too many chances for fires, or basically it's just fires. That's the main thing that you don't want on a boat, is an electrical fire, because there's really, once you have an electrical fire, if it's not, everything isn't circuit protected, it's just going to burn.
Right, so you're saying words like circuit protected. Okay, that's wonderful to me. I don't know what that means. Obviously it's a safety net of some sort, right?
Yes.
That being said, when I think about bilge pumps and I think about wiring and float switches and stuff that are difficult, for me to get into, but when people look at that stuff, when does a person decide, and like we were talking a bit before this, when do you piecemeal something where you can just get things working, and then when is it really time to really redo wiring? So if you have an older boat, like how do you suggest to people what they do?
I think it really depends on the budget. The budget's the main thing. If you're willing to spend the money right off the bat, that's really important, because you could, say in the first year with a new boat that is not in tip-top shape, you could spend a lot of money just throwing parts at a boat, fixing this, fixing that, when you could either just redo the whole boat off the bat and start fresh, everything new, or you could do somewhat of a cleanup, organize, label, as long as everything is in good enough condition to do that. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the tough thing too, is if a boat is however many years old, 10, 15 years old, might not be worth spending the money to clean it all up and try to make it look right. The other thing is too, you don't know if anything's had water damage. You don't know if a boat sunk to the deck before and all of that wiring's already toast.
Good point.
So here you're in there and you're trying to figure stuff out and stuff isn't working. It's just kind of a tough, a tough balance between just do the whole boat and get it over with, or throw some money into it and see where that goes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a difficult question. So a difficult question would be, and I know it's random and I know you can't really answer it, but there's time and materials. obviously for you. So when we think about redoing something, yeah, you know, sticker shock, or for me to say, okay, let's say I bought my this old Ocean Master, or I bought a Mako 25, or a contender, an old contender that I want to redo, which you've done a lot of them. So I say, hey, Aaron, man, you know, I bought this boat and the wiring looks sketchy. I don't know, the boat may have sunk, I don't know, it had some weird stains on it when I bought it, so we don't know what's under the deck. What am I really looking at to replace the main wiring for a boat? Now, I'm not talking about the batteries or what, but like, what does it cost on a 27 contender that's 20 years old to put a wiring system together in there? Is there a way to?
That's difficult.
Is it 10,000? Is it 12,000? Is it?
I mean, a general rewire from your switches to the batteries, you know, your battery switches to the batteries, your switch panel out to all of your accessories, done nice, neat, remove everything, clean it, and then start the install. Average is probably 80 hours.
80 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking, okay, gotcha. So you're going by the week. You know it's going to take you 2 weeks.
Sure.
Okay, and that at 125, 30, 50 an hour.
At 125.
125 an hour. Okay,
So
so
from there, you pile on all of your accessories. You pile on autopilots, radars,
but if I have
cameras,
all that,
lights.
if I
True.
have all that,
Yeah.
and I just say, so now you're talking 10 grand-ish.
Right.
10, so 10 grand to redo my wiring, to know everything I got with existing stuff that may be fine. Go a little more because you always find something.
No, I mean, if 10 grand would pretty much be to rewire all of it.
Right.